Right, you lot, and I know another Ed Sheeran video. I tell you, this series has been going on longer than the bloody Simpsons at this point, it feels like. All this to show that this man deserves more than being labelled as the most boring safe artist. Has it really been worth it? The worst bit is that this ain't even the last part, because I've got to do equals after it. Plus, it's time for Plus. Plus is a weird album to go back to, because it's so simple and stripped back, and I mean that in a good way. It's just, it's got an authenticity to it. It's so authentic, and not that his later albums weren't, but this is just, you really buy everything this man's going for. He was so fresh at the time in the 2012 landscape, and you really feel that it's really the most we get to his roots. And of course, he was going to get bigger and more produced and more commercial as time went on, but this was when he was simple. This is when he was like me and you. This was a nightmare ranking for a different reason than what you expect. I feel like the other albums, X was like, it was so consistently good that almost every track was like up there. And Divide was like, half of them were amazing, half of them were poor. And Subtract was kind of like, some were really memorable and others weren't. But this is like, they were all very consistent, and there was a lot that was like either really strong and the rest were just all average. There weren't really any poor, mediocre ones like some of the other albums had. So at points in this ranking, it really was split in bloody hairs. But we got there in the end. Okay, so this is the first one you're watching for some reason. Here are the rules of all rankings I do on my channel, but just let me know. Now, the rankings are subjective, which means they're based on my own opinion and very bizarre taste. I always encourage debate in the comments because I think I love arguing with people about things, and I feel like music might be even more subjective than films, so there's no two people that are going to agree but on every placement here. So please tell me if I'm wrong and why, and I'm open for debate. Also, in this ranking, I'm going to include the 4 bonus tracks because I like them, and one of them is arguably better than like 80% of them, all the album. You'll see that later. I'm also gonna kind of look at this album in perspective of the rest of his career as well, because it's hard to kind of zero in on just this album. So, say he did a song on here and then he did something similar later on that was better, I will take that into account, and I will also look at how it's aged and how it feels in the 2024 landscape, because some get better and worse over time. This album's held up quite well, though, I'll give you that so far. But anyway, I feel like we should just get on with it. Okay, last place, and I hate to do this, and I say it every time, but something had to be here. 16th. I've gone for Small Bump. Now, this song details the really tragic story of a baby that never truly was. But I believe it was his aunt's child, from what I've read. The song starts as Ed is so excited for this child to come, only for it to not make it. It's such a beautiful story. It's such a touching, moving event. It's one of the worst things you can face as a human being. So why is it so low? You're probably asking. And I'll be honest, I feel like it lacks the weight a story like this deserves. The song sounds really sweet and soft and really simple, but I don't think Ed is ever able to really express the emotional feeling needed to portray such a tragic event. So it really ends up feeling a bit empty and too vague, and it feels like missed opportunity. And the twist that the baby didn't make it comes pretty much in the last 30 seconds, so you don't have enough time to have that climax. And I feel like the whole thing, which could be a classic, and should be, this album's answer to a Visiting Hours or a Supermarket Flowers, this tragic death, but unfortunately, the song itself is fine, it's sweet, innocent, but the oxymoron just doesn't really work for me, sadly, and I have to give it a 3 out of 10. I'm really sorry, because the more I talk about it, the worse this gets. Okay, 15th place now, and it's time for the first bonus track. And I've gone for Autumn Leaves. Now, this song has an atmosphere, which is just so great. Like, it feels like autumn. It's got this quiet, like you're in the woods feeling. The tone is it's so on point. But the rest, I'll be honest, it's nothing special. It's got authenticity and emotion at times, but it's too vague lyrically to be impactful. You clearly talk about a breakup, a topic commonly discussed of a huge portion of Plus's songs is kind of breakup he had where he had to move away from an ex, but he still is hung up on her. And I feel like the final third of the song, things transform, but then it kind of stops before it really gets good. It's almost amazing, but at the end it just kind of falls to the bottom of the pack after kind of putting it all together. I didn't really expect it to be here, but it's not bad. It's just that there's so many better songs in here, and as a breakup song he's done a lot better in his career and on this album. So there's just others on this album that are way stronger, so 5.5 out of 10. Okay, 14th, and I actually really hate this placement, but I think you'll understand once I elaborate here. I've gone for Kiss Me. This song is so beautiful. It's truly timeless. It's got this amazing feel. Ed describes how he's so in love and this sensation and this journey he goes through as love progresses. Ed's voice is so perfect here. I love his passion and belief is so strong. I love the delivery he has here, and it's such a brilliantly strung and performed song. The problem that I have with this track is that it's the track before Give Me Love, a very similar track that is just infinitely better than this, and I think every Ed Sheeran fan or non-fan would agree with that. I don't get the placement of this on the album. I feel like it feels like a trailer. It feels, you know what I mean? Like this feels like part one of a two-piece, which is infinitely worse. This is very much definitely How They've Part 1 or Mockingjay Part 1 in the sense. It's hard to be kind of this low because I really like the song, but with the context I've got to give it 6 out of 10. I've got to put it here, Stanley. Okay, number 13 now, and God, Ed is unlucky here, poor guy. It's this. The song describes and kind of the details of a very universal feel of kind of loving someone, then thinking you've got something going there, and then you mess it up and they date someone else. Ed is just broken here. He can't take the reality. He puts this girl on this pedestal that he can never reach, and this song has all the emotion that Small Bump needed. My only issue is that instrumentally it's very simple, and the track is not on the memorable side, you could say, but it does kind of fall because it's not one you constantly go back to or constantly want to jam. However, I think it's got a very kind of intimate moment, and it's definitely not a skip for me, and it's one that I would really much recommend. But it's not a standout for me, so I do have to give it a 6.5 out of 10. Okay, 12th now, and from here on, everything is just really great, so it was hard to do this, but I have gone for Little Bird. This is such a joy of a track. I love the kind of vibe and sound here. It's got almost chaos of a man desperate to get things back together. There's always this pathetic vanity with the music, somehow. I'm not really sure how I feel about this kind of little bird, calling a girl a little bird metaphor. I thought that was a bit strange and it's a bit outdated. I don't like that. But this track is fun as it is on surface level, but it's not trying to be deep. I feel like the subtext kind of lacks in places here, which is really the only factor putting it down. Really, apart from that really bizarre metaphor that is the title of the song. I feel like maybe this should be lower now thinking about how bad that metaphor is. But it's a really fun time. I enjoy it. 6.5 out of 10. Okay, we're just outside the top 10 now, unfortunately. You hate to be 11th or 6th on the list, don't you? The bonus track, Gold Rush. This track kind of adds this timeless feel to it. It's one you can never get tired of. It's a fun track. It's a track about being young, not knowing the world. We forget how young Ed was here, and it's kind of weird going back to it. It's got this kind of college feel, even down to kind of the beat. It's got like a busking feel, it's retro, it feels like an underground artist, not the global sensation that made 18, but in a good way. And I really like that about the track, but it's not looking to be complex, and it's not looking to be an iconic song or one played for generations, but it's a good time, so now it's that. Okay, breaking actually into the top 10 this time, with Grade 8. This is a great kind of tale of young love, a man feeling love for the first time, lost, completely clueless, but desperate to chase after what he desires and wants. And I love the chaos going on in Grade 8 here. It's so honest, it's so kind of vulnerable. Musically, this is like kind of more upbeat and ambitious, so I feel like it stands out with the kind of almost rap flow delivery and how he's pushing things vocally here. The only thing holding it back is that there's other songs that go for the more upbeat feel that are stronger than this, so it just kind of falls down a bit. That kind of happens on most of these rankings when there's a better version of the same song. Okay, on to single digits now, and 9th. I've gone for one of the most beautiful on the album, Wake Me Up. This is such a typical Ed Sheeran. This is textbook Ed, which after doing all these videos, I felt maybe that hindered it a bit, but you know, It's a man in love. He feels like he's in this coma, and this girl's open him up from it. This kind of feel of love. This is a track that really should be corny, and if someone like Shawn Mendes or Justin Bieber sang this, it would be one of the most embarrassing things ever. But Ed has just that authenticity to it, including lyrics of just like random things they do, like watching track. He's able to build this real picture. You buy that this was a real relationship. You buy every word that this is something that actually happened and not fabricated and not trying too hard. The only reason it's so low is that, again, Ed has done so many love songs that are on other albums that are better than this, and on this album that are better than this. So yeah, but it's a strong 7.5 out of 10. Okay, 8th now, and another classic for me, and one that I really didn't take notice of too much until this re-listen, and I'm really glad I did. It's This City. This is a track about getting out there, being motivated, enjoying that kind of young life. The sound's absolutely fantastic. It actually feels as if you're moving through the motions of the city, and I love how he's able to encapsulate that feeling. You kind of see this rebellious, almost said, experiencing things. He's insecure but also excited, and he's finding his way. It's such a great track. I love the storytelling in it. Feels like an episode of a TV show as he's going through and getting into this city, and the vibe is fantastic. This is one to never get tired of, and we also detail kind of his drive and his motive and how he's going to work here, and he's going to want to build a foundation, and there's just so many themes and subtext here and so much you can get hung on for ages. So one of my favourites. Okay, 7th now, and it's an iconic one. I've gone for Lego House. Now, fun fact, as a kid, this was my favourite Ed Sheeran song because, well, Lego was mentioned in the title, obviously. I mean, that's children for you, ain't it? This song shouldn't be much, really. It's a very straightforward one in comparison to other tracks. It's just a man so desperate to fix and rekindle this kind of relationship. He thinks he's healed, he thinks he's improved, but you still can't kind of bring it together. The storyline here and delivery is on point, but I feel like nostalgia does play a big part for me with this song. It's such a great mood, it's just timeless. I think the way he delivers it, and he's able to let you in and you really get invested, and the feelings here are just next to none. Another 8 out of 10 for me. Okay, 6th place and just missing out the top 5, and it's a fun one. I've gone for Uni, or also abbreviated to You and I, that's just a classic Ed thing. There's kind of an unspoken rule which I've kind of learned doing this, and I kind of knew anyway, that on every Ed Sheeran album there is at least one track that features rap, or at least is rap based, and this one actually has 2, but this is the first. This song's delivery is so much fun. You kind of just feel that clueless man who's trying to make a relationship work, because yeah, we've seen this before. Not putting in too deep because he can't find a way to fix it. It's just such a great track to relax to. Like, you feel that chaos that he's kind of strangling, and in the end there's a place of acceptance that he reaches. I don't know. The thing about this one is always, I will always love this one. Okay, we're breaking into the top 5 now, and it's honestly a classic. This is the one that you know, even if you don't like him. It's the 18th. If you hate Ed Sheeran and you can't stand everything he's become and stood for, this is probably the track you should blame, because this is the song that made him. And the best part about this track being the one that blows up, a lot of the time that you'll see an artist blow up with a song that isn't like the rest of their music, and I always hate that. You get the big hit on the album is nothing like everything else. Some of my recent examples of that, the latest Lewis Capaldi album, the song Forget Me, was like, I gave it my number 1 song 22. The rest of the album sounded nothing like it. And then another one, Post Malone's album last year, Chemical was fantastic, but it did not compare. I've really felt this song really tells you everything that Ed Sheeran is. It's not complex, it's not too deep honest, it's just so simple, but it's really effective. Ed tells the story of this girl kind of stuck on drugs, and she's kind of broken with such an authenticity and a sincerity. This song is timeless, and it could be from any era really. In a 2012 landscape, people love this. I feel like it was a breath of fresh air at the time, and it was just a guy being raw and honest. It wasn't Gangnam Style or the party rock anthem, which were the kind of things you'd hear. There was so much EDM and kind of pop over the top stuff, and I feel like Ed was just different, and I think he really deserved everything they got here, and it is a 9 out of 10. Okay, we're 4th now with an absolute classic from the album. It's Drunk. Such a unique, clever, and really catchy song. I think we can all agree that we do miss the old Ed because of songs like this one. I just feel that this was so fresh, and I feel it couldn't be more the case than I felt the old Ed was just so fresh and so different, as I just said with the A-Team, and it couldn't be more the case than with a track like Drunk. In a way, it's kind of amusing to laugh at this one, to see the brilliant man he grew up to be going from this, but it is got that early 20s feel to it, a young guy just having fun, making mistakes, but I love the mood he sets here. The beat is such a bop overall. It's just a banger. There's not loads to say. It's just got a honest man living young adult life, contemplating and regretting, going it through it all. And it's one of the best in his discography, honestly. 9.5 out of 10. Okay, breaking into the top 3 now, and this was one that really caught me off guard. And that's Sunbird. It's a track that I'd only ever heard once, funny enough, and not even the full way through, I'll be honest. But this song is just that place of acceptance, as he knows that old relationship is gone and needs to move on, but he's still hit with the past ventures time after time. I love this. It's just so stripped back. It feels like a voice note. It all comes out. He's processing it, and as a listener, you kind of really feel that. He's not giving everything, he's not hiding back, and this long distance relationship just wasn't possible for him, and he's so broken, and this is such an amazing ending to the album, and it's so powerful and deserves bronze medal. If he didn't have 2 of the best in his discography as the top 2, this could win. Like, this would have won on some other rankings, I reckon. Okay, runner-up time, and you knew it would be here. It's Give Me Love. He's got a new love now that he can't lose, but the truth is, he still loves his ex, and he gives everything. This 8-minute plea to desperation. He wants love, he wants her back, he can't leave it. His vulnerability, expression of pain, it's so poignant. He gives everything. This is everything and more. This is how you end an album, but the truth is he still wants his ex. He's so in love with her. Still, he's desperate, he's pleading, the emotional build-up, and then that payoff as he folds and he wants to let her in. He's obsessed, and what a track. In the second half, wow, what a way to end this. The track is everything, a 10 out of 10, but still, one is somehow better. Okay, the winner, come on, you knew it was coming. If you didn't think this would win, like, who are you? It's You Need Me, I Don't Need You. This is absolutely an absolute vibe. What I love about this track is Ed, a man so usually humble throughout the album, says, actually, get behind me, you need me, I love it, and it works so well, better than other things and attempts that I've seen of this sort of thing. I just think because he's got this authenticity to him, he calls other artists out and shows them to be different in a way. He does write his own songs, he does work hard, he works on the bottom, and I just think this demonstrates everything I've said all along about Ed and everything he should be. And the line, they say I'm up and coming like I'm fucking in an elevator, is one of the coldest lines ever, and probably my favourite in his old discography. And I'm being really sincere there. What an incredible middle finger to critics. It really is kind of that 8 Mile moment for him, and the song is truly a banger to this day. I just love his mindset, and this song is everything about his character. To this day, this is his last song on every set list whenever he does kind of a gig or a tour or something like that, and it will always be Ed's personal favourite for him, and it's so deserving, number 1. So that was Plus. I actually really enjoyed this one more than I thought I would, and I kind of got the story of the album as the ranking went on and as I delved into it more, so I kind of had fun in that front. I do have to do Equals next, and that should be fun because Equals has some amazing moments and a few actual really underrated tracks and some moments that I don't really want to talk about. But that one I'll probably do in like 3 months' time because I don't want to make them too close together. Upcoming videos, I'll give it a wave really because I don't really know at the minute. I'm working currently on kind of a LGBT representation Disney films video. And I'm going to be doing, I think, another Tyler the Creator base ranking. I'm going to be looking at Flower Boy, I think. But I might change my mind. And then I've got a new song coming out at some point, hopefully. Right, I'll see you lot soon.